Why do masters find the best moves so consistently while beginners struggle, guys? I'm going to be giving you the secrets in this video. I'm going to be showing you what even I today, guys, use as a chess master and the difference between that thinking and an actual beginner. Now, at the end of the video, I'm going to be showing where one of my beginner students used this and then crushed his opponent like an actual master. So stay tuned and learn this technique. Take notes. Guys, you need to understand activity. I'm going to be breaking this down like completely for you guys to really and truly grasp this. Now, you have three moves here. It's currently black to play. You could play Q to A3 protecting the pawn, Rook to E8 protecting the pawn, or Rook to B8. Those are your three options. Which one would you pick and why? I'm going to be giving the answer and actually again give my thoughts on this position. Now with beginners mostly play reactive chess. Some of them don't even react at all and just blunder their pieces. Now for masters understand that they need to be aggressive. They need to put pressure on their opponent's position to force blunders. Now, unfortunately for white in this scenario, the position is already lost. Now, at the lower levels, they don't understand activity. They would see the fact that the bar, like the stockfish is saying that they're losing, but when they count the material, everything looks completely equal. They're like, white has two rooks and a bishop, a queen. Black has two rooks, a bishop, and a queen. So how can black be winning? We need to understand again activity. Now this move, Rook to B8, if you guys found it, well done. This is the thought process. We need to get our pieces in this area of the board. Like when I talk to you guys, when I keep speaking to you guys and I'm like, play active, you need to start putting pressure on your opponent. Like by you putting pressure on a piece, you might not see right away how is this benefiting your position, but by you activating something, you actually give yourself a chance to make your opponents go wrong. Now, what do I mean by this? If I keep my rook on A8, this rook will not be able to participate in the attack. Now, by me swinging this rook into the game, look at what happens. If he follows his plan, if white just does his thing and takes our pawn on E7, then rook to B1 is here. Now, look at the fact that white is up a pawn. It doesn't matter because we have the active pieces like knocking on white's door. We're going to be winning material. So there are more things to look at in chess than just material, but you need to understand activity. Activity will give you material if used correctly. So what do I mean by this again? Let's say that white does not take on E7 and simply captures our rook on B8. Now after the recapture, in this game, my opponent resigned. But why? There is no way to stop rook to B1 without losing a piece. And guess what? Because my queen is extremely active, he is unable to castle because he will lose this bishop on D2. Just look, it's all because of my active pieces. I want you guys to picture that this queen was not active. It was somewhere passive down here. Then he would be able to castle in this position. Hope you guys are also working on your visualization. But by me having these two active pieces, it was enough for me to win this game. Rook to B1 is incoming. And white will indeed lose a piece. If he moves this bishop out of the way, then rook to B1. And as you can see, this is a ladder combo. And again, bad things will happen. So we're going to be going into our second example. Hope you guys are taking notes. Let's go. This is the second thing that separates beginners from actual masters. Beginners just practice to play the first thing that comes to their mind, and then they wonder why they're not improving. Now in this position, everybody here would play like, oh wait, I just need to get my king out to the center and castle. Masters try to see a better move. So they're like, I'm about to play this move, but is there better? Now, what did I tell you guys earlier about active pieces, aggressive pieces. Whenever I have pieces pointing in my opponent's half of the board, I look for tactics. I like to draw this line and I check to see if there's any piece that can cross into that territory for me to actually launch an attack. Once I have enough pieces in the game, and here bishop takes d5 is actually dynamite. So here this bishop is unable to take because of the pin, and we're seeing here that the rook on a8 is also hanging. Now this is not the end of what you guys need to take. Please pay attention. Do not practice to play automatic moves. I said here that white wanted to castle, but they took some extra time to look at the position to see if there was anything better, and then bishop takes d5 was found. Now black tried knight to c6 to defend, and I know what you guys are seeing. You're going to be taking the bishop here, pawn takes e6, and then you're going to try to win the pawn on e6. And again, guys, this is what separates masters from beginners. I know that queen takes e6 is a move that I want, like, you know, but then before making that move, I take a quick pause and I'm like, is there better? This is a weak king. It has like entry points. Can I exploit it? And then suddenly, queen to h5 check is a fork on the king and the bishop on c5. And by you taking some extra time, you will be able to come up with better moves. Don't just focus on winning, focus on improving your level. That is going to give you ratings like in chunks long term. So take notes, and we're going to be going basically over a game where a beginner student applied this and absolutely crushed his opponent. Let's go. If you are interested in 1v1 sessions, you could book through my website. The link is going to be in my description and my bio. So depending on what you're trying to improve, I said this again multiple times, not in this video, but everybody would have different weaknesses in chess. Let's say that you struggle with aggression. This guy was trying out the King's Indian defense to get more aggressive positions. Now, for persons who don't know what the King's Indian is, whenever you play like this pawn structure here, where you push this pawn and get your bishop here, you're basically setting up this shield for your king, and you're ready to attack white if he's not careful. Now in the game, white was pushing a lot of pawns. He pushed d4, d5, c4, h4, and persons don't normally know what to do when their opponents are pushing pawns. Now here we had pawn to c6, and we're trying to break open the position. Whenever you have more development than your opponent, you want to try to open up the game so that your aggressive pieces, your pieces that you have developed, the active pieces that you have, can start to attack your opponents. That's the reason why pawn moves, or too many pawn moves in the opening, is not advised, especially at the beginner levels. You're taking on a lot of risk and it could backfire. Now he played queen to c2. Now look at this. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 pawn moves and now a queen move. And white tried his best to open up the position. Now, whenever you're looking for a chance to open up the game, look for your pawn breaks. You want to put tension between pawns to force trades. Because every time you trade a pawn in chess, you're basically opening a file. So here, we're seeing where we have a semi-open C file because we traded the C pawns. Here, he took on D5 as well to open up the E file. And guess what? What likes open files in chess? The rooks. So he's basically bringing all his pieces into play. We now had knight to E2 and queen to A5. Now, the reason why this is done, he's trying to get his pieces looking into that area of the board. I'm going to be taking a step back because this game only lasted like 2 more moves. I want you guys to pay attention to what's actually happening. You cannot attack without active pieces. Now, depending on the level that you're at, I will allow different things. The more pieces you have developed into the game, the better. You want to have a good background, a good basis, so that is your default thinking. Once that is done, then you can start experimenting. But here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces ready to play into the game. White is again breaking opening principles, played Q to B3, and black ended him. So we have knight takes D5, queen takes D5, and I know you guys see this tactic. Whenever you're looking to crush your opponents in chess, you want to look for moves in your opponent's side of the board. So I normally like to draw this line. This is a removing the guard tactic. And I also want you guys to take note that tactics basically work in a superior position. Now, what do I mean by this? The person that has more activity is normally the person that actually has the tactics, because we are the one putting pressure on white. As you can see, the knight is pinned. So after bishop takes c3, his opponent resigned. We are the one putting pressure on them, so tactics are more likely to flow in our favor. Thanks again for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this, like and share, and apply this in your games, guys. Remember the rule of activity. Take care.